So we are looking at entrepreneurship in education. Mm. So here we see where entrepreneurship begins from. To become an entrepreneur, one has got to bear ideas. That's why we see that one has got to conceive essential ideas. When you look around, which ideas do you get? They are enterprise ideas that one has got to get. And everybody, we see here that everyone has the potential to bear ideas. These are thoughts, but if they are essential, they become ideas. And the ideas we get, um, we get them by observing communities, looking at community challenges and problems of the community. For us, when we look at the challenges of the community and observe them, we consider that those are opportunities. Actually, we don't use the word challenges, we use the word needs. Wherever the people are challenged, we say they have a need. Yes. Yes. So we take on the opportunity. Uh-huh. Then now. Mm. So it, the teacher you see who is in class and people are there in the community, they want holiday work, they want it. The teacher sees the need and gets the idea. Mm. To start something. Now, this idea that we get, we call it a raw idea. The idea is still raw and therefore needs to be researched so that it becomes uh, it becomes clearer to you. So here, that's why we say research about this idea that you get. Find out what does it take. If the people in this community need a school, which school? Kindergarten, primary, or secondary? Mm-hmm. The Kauku people are lacking a good secondary school. Mm. 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 So can that give an idea? Can the elite people in after primary and they have saturated, can they get an idea of initiating a secondary school? Ah, so if you perceive such an idea, you find out uh, the people in the community can they afford, uh, what does it take to run such a school, and that give a name to that idea. Name it. If it is a primary school, give it a name, and you'll call it Angel a secondary school. Angels a secondary school. Specifically, don't say Angel School. Which school? Yes. Then organize these ideas into a plan. First, we call a plan a set of organized ideas that define a process, the standards, and the resources that are needed to operate that named idea. Wakyetegereza. So now this one, you have a plan, you have to start the organization now. Of course, this plan you also have to find the resources necessary to finance it or to run it. Some resources are not finances, other resources are financial resources. But the plan should stand even if their financial resources are not yet in place. We should have a plan. So here, then you establish what? The organization. Then after establishing this organization, introduce it to the what? To the world. Yes. Yes. Here we are. So here we are. We are called this. We do this, and ah, yes, move out. Two and a half. So so now here you've introduced the organization. So this is a brief of the sequence that ideas have got to follow. Yeah. No. Then, so we ask ourselves, what is a business? Some people have come up with definitions of business. For example, a person says a business is anything you do to earn a living. Others say a business is anything you do to make profit. So, however, we see that a business is an opportunity to serve and satisfy the needs of people. That is a definition that I commonly take on, and that's the definition that I see outstanding. So we view a business as an opportunity to serve and satisfy the needs of the people. So here you may not necessarily see the word profit, which many people who define business want to flaunt. But whenever we have that people have needs, and then we take it as an opportunity and serve those needs and make sure these people are satisfied, we eventually get profits as rewards. So if people just choose to go into business with the purpose of just making profit, they will make profit. But such business cannot be sustained. Yes, because there are no customers who will come to to give you profit. They will come to make sure that you serve them and they to get satisfied. Mm-hmm. Even you, yeah, you get satisfied when the community, you've served the community. So any business is taking advantage of people's problems to manipulate them. You say person is stranded, then you say, oh, this child is bad loaf. We even don't know why you took the child in another school. Now you escalate the problem so that you overcharge the what? The person. You've taken long with this sickness. Really, really, this is too bad. It is too difficult now. You've made it complicated. This is your life. So you mm. So here you see that you have to identify the needs of people. That's where your ideas are going to be generated. And then take it as an opportunity. So set up something that where people can come and get service. And ensure that when the people come, they get satisfied with the services or the products you have offered. Now we see here some of the needs of people that create opportunities. Even if it is a school setup, they have come to study, but you cannot eliminate the fact that they will have to eat. So there is a need for for food because people go hungry. So looking at this need for food, you a person can set up an opportunity. One person can say they may have rare animals for meat. Another one can choose to say they may uh, plant crops for people to eat. Others are manufacturing. Others are in manufacturing, we call production. Others are trading. They are moving goods from place to place to sell, which are food items. In most of our shops, you really see that they have food stuffs. Another person chooses to set up a hotel or a restaurant because people are hungry and they need food. Another one, cafe, kiosk, bakery. Even those who are producing saucepans, plates, forks, and all of these, they are doing them because people need the food. If they stopped eating food, you will see very many companies here closing. Yeah. In the school establishment, you have a kiosk. You have even a kitchen. Other people can expand this and make a farm. Yes, can have a farm for animals or for crops which they actually feed their children. Others can make a restaurant and the restaurant cooks food. Part of it is for the school. Uh-huh. So you will see that the other need is the need for food. Let me just go back a little. The need for accommodation and hospitality. So we see that in the world, not ev- everyone, even it is everyone is born without accommodation. Yeah, otherwise, you'll be born like a what? A snail with its what? Shell. You grow with a little house. You grow as it grows, and then afterwards you sleep in it like snails. But here, no one is born within a house. So even people will need this accommodation. But in the accommodation provided, they will need hospitality to be welcomed and handled properly. Yes, customer care. So because people need accommodation here, so you see other people have bricklaying businesses, others are producing tiles, others iron sheets, cement, yes, timber. You can see some people have chosen to set up rentals, hotel rooms, apartments, those metal fabrications. Okay, so as entrepreneurs, like in education, you have to set up buildings, and among them, you set up hostels. You have a hostel within premises or out within the school or distance from the school to accommodate the the the, the people. Even teachers, you need to accommodate them. Accommodation. Actually, some. mm, so those are places. So when people come in these places, they need to have hospitality. You could have a hostel, but the children there are struggling with the caregiver in the hostel. They are stressed. Then, so you could look at opportunities. What can you do for all this? You could have projects of the school which look at accommodation and hospitality, but is a project of the school. Others have a need, need for clothing because people are born naked. So they need to cover their nakedness, and so clothes are very key. For opportunities, you will see others are having cloth factories, textile, others are farming in cotton, boutiques, tailoring centers. Actually, some others are putting in tailoring. Yeah. The spelling of tailoring here has to be corrected. R here is missing. Tailoring centers could have, even we call a salon dressing, hair dressing. So all these. So because of clothing, you will find that the school can set up a unit that may not, maybe you may not go for textile unless you want to have a knitting unit in the school. Knitting. Mm. So you can have shirts and skirts produced somewhere, uniforms, you can do embroidery, weaving and knitting. So yeah, some schools have set up these as ventures running to to serve the school and also this community. So those are opportunities. Mhm. Then they need to have health services. People need to be healthy, so they need to be healed because they will go sick. Some others set up pharmaceutical industry or a pharmacy, hospital, a health center or a clinic. Yes, or drug shops, diagnostic center, optical center, skin center, or to make sure people are healthy. Even in the schools, you have the staff, the parents, the students are getting sick. So where do they go for services? Some other schools can choose to put up a health center for the school. The nurse is there, and the nurse, yes, when you register it as a clinic, it is registered as a separate clinic. But what you're running is actually, you can't call it a clinic, a dispensary. It's a dispensary. Mm. But others that are seeing this as an opportunity, they can set up a health center, register it as a health center as a project, which makes profit as an independent project. But the school can take their children there, and the parents can't pay unless the parent is not interested. So they can charge for health services, but their children are treated in that health facility. But the health facility is not only for that students. Yes. Mm. Mhm. Mhm. They go for insurance. So here there is a need to learn because people are born with some knowledge, but not all knowledge. Or so they will need to learn. There's a need. So this is where you see we have schools, and then we have universities, we have community trainings in secondary schools, daycare, kindergarten, that's where. But we ask ourselves, is the meaning of the word business still held? Are people getting satisfied? Mhm. Now this one is the need for people to get together. This is the need for togetherness. So they will need communication, transport, internet to be connected. Even in schools, you have school buses, have school vans, because there's a need. So this goes road, telecom, vehicles. Those roads are now delegated to government. Telecom, people have entered in it, and In schools, someone can have a phone for learners, possibly, to communicate to their parents. Oh, Angel, this one, drive it away. This one. I'm giving it to you. Which district is that where you come from? Yes, the home district. Uh-huh. Soroti. Uh-huh. Soroti has big stones. I think they are called the twins or what? Those rocks, yes. In the city there are rocks. I think they even preserve them. Yeah, they have some names. What are they called? Amora Peso or Pierre. What do they mean? So when we are establishing a business in a place, it is for those opportunities and those needs. When the business is not needed, people will not come for it, and therefore your investment will be wasted. Now, you have to assess, we call it an assessment of the business environment. Environmental assessment for a business. If you have not assessed the environment, you are likely to err in investing. So in environment, what you call environmental scanning, look at the environment around which the business is going to operate. One of the environments is the political environment. If you establish a business in a place where there's a lot of insecurity, mm, so we would have brought our children to that school, but that, mm, what if they kidnap them along with that? Do you have a system that picks children and escort them up to here and help them either to cross the road? This is assessment of the environment, the word of. Mm. Then the political environment even spreads to neighborhood and the the local leadership of the place. Places of conflict. Mhm. So when the political environment is not assessed, it will not be a good one. Then there is also a legal environment. The legal environment tells us what are the laws governing such a business you want to operate. You could think of establishing a clinic, but the clinic is also authorized to operate and is licensed by the National Drug Authority. And thus it should have some health standards to meet, and the nurse has got to be a registered nurse to be able to work in that clinic. You establish it outside the legal establishment, they come and close it and penalize you. You will even see that some places they do not allow some businesses to operate there. Or you've built a school near to the road, you you've built your perimeter wall without seeking for local council engagement. They come and break it that it is within the road reserve. That's the go environment. Then we also have the international environment. When we look at the international environment of business is where you see what the world has established. For example, there is inclusive education nowadays. It is an internationally moved agenda that when for you do not embrace it, you will not be meeting the international standards. There is the equity, they call it equity, the equity setup, where even women can be head teachers. Mhm. So then we look at also the cultural environment. The culture, you find the place is full of Catholics and you set up a Muslim school and you speak to the Muslims, you struggle. Or you set up a piggery project. Yes. Or in your school, you do not treasure local language. You do not want learners at all to know how to write the Uganda and even to try to speak it. And they have staunch Baganda in that community that believe that if somebody learned proverbs of Buganda, will have more wisdom. And so when the child goes back to the community and the community tries to say, uh-huh, uh, Asuro Mugo, something they, yes, then the child is not able to say anything. You see, they cannot dance even our dances. You go in there, they don't dance. They don't drum our drums. They only play some kind of music we don't understand.
It happened at Mkumba University last week, but one in a community of the youth of that such a big number.
Mm.
One of the contestants, the lead contestants, brought drums instead of bringing the singers, and that's how we lost all the votes at the last hour. What drums for students to drum and dance? You know that is not a community for such a thing. You would have got them entertainers. This contestant brought King Saka. And all his voters went away from him. Hey, King Saka. And that's how the difference turned up fast.
He didn't assess the cultural environment very well.
Hey. All of them were calling, were telling him that he is bringing culture.
So assess the culture of that community where the business is going to stand. The the natural environment as well. Natural environment here we look at wetlands, mountains, valleys. You set up your school or you set up your business in the wetland. Then the following day, you find that you're being evicted by NEMA, National Environmental Management Authority. Or you have also to be careful that these days in schools they don't allow schools to ban garbage. Yes, you are emitting carbon, polluting the environment. So, mm, so proper disposal is very key. You look at the natural environment. You need to have some trees mm, planted, some greenery, not to pave everywhere and the tarmac everywhere. Mm. Mhm.
Waliwo n'omuddo gwe baakoze
Ku ssomero lyammwe ndabayo
wabulayo ku TikTok omuddo ogutakula naye tegwetaba kusaawa tegukula gukasa obusimba tegukula and it is strong.
So you also need to look at the technological environment, the technology. That's why you'll find that these days, because it is a digital generation, electronic generation, for you when you some institutions are setting up reports that parents can just log onto some their phone and they see the report of their child. They can even print at their own offices. For you are not having them. You're not embracing technological changes. Eh, mhm. The computers, some learners are in kindergarten, but they are typing with computers. They have computer lessons in the primary, which is a parallel what program running, so parents can pay for it if it is well planned. Those are technological advancements. You've seen even in marking papers that they use what? Conveyor belts. Mm. Conveyor belt system. You mark and place on a belt that is rotating. The paper goes automatically to another person, and then you place it. No one is moving. Should be moving papers. Mm. The door opens automatically.
It senses somebody.
Mm. At the gate.
Have you ever seen curtains sensing the color you put on and they change? Somewhere.
Hmm.
He told me she got it from Dubai.
Now,
So
what if you just choose? No, okay. Is this the ideal? If I'm assessing an environment of the sort
mm,
to make a good establishment of an institution,
mm,
and I choose just to focus on three of those,
mm, and leave the other.
I may not leave them, but I don't prioritize them.
Okay.
How about that?
It is okay. It depends on now how you have assessed and drawn a conclusion.
Mm.
So what we want is you to establish a business which is not going to be affected by the external environment.
Mm.
For example, here, economic environment involves what activities are people doing in that area, what is their income.
Mm.
So you set tuition and say they have got to pay 500,000 shillings, but if someone is expecting to pay fees using from his
Mm.
two goats, it's a difference with the other one who is having 200 goats.
Mm.
So economically, you set fees and then you see people running away.
You know, it happened at Jovens. Joven was starting, its market was not on the ground.
Mm.
It focused the Rwandese and Tanzanians, and that's where their market was.
Mm.
And yet its establishment is in Entebbe, Garuga.
Mm.
That's why they were very. I think by that time they had like not even more than 10 local people coming in the school, because they perceived it to be a very expensive school, not for them.
Mm.
You get it?
Mm.
So how should I judge my environment? Should it be particularly on ground? My environment cannot exceed where I'm staying.
I think Mr. Sabio will establish another thing. For example, he was saying it's pure. For example, in Kauku right now, it's purely most of the people who are living in are Catholics. And for you, you come, you start a school purely for Muslims. Will you get
That is
customers?
cultural. I'm talking about economic.
Economic. Okay. I thought you were talking about environment.
Economic. If you assess the environment of the and discover people will not afford your 1 million fees, then you know that those people are not going to come from this community. Don't get disappointed and then go to meet to start marketing the school to them.
Yeah, sure.
So because you will know that that is not your target market. Then you go to communities which have the economic potential to join that school. Otherwise, you will wear down and get surprised that the community is not responding to your marketing drive. That comes after you have assessed the economic environment. There are some communities where when you set a kindergarten, people can only afford the fees of 100,000 shillings per term. You put it 200, the person says, my child will start school in P1, and they get committed to it. Mhm. Then there is also the religious environment, which is close to the cultural environment.
Religious, isn't it the same as the culture?
Culture goes quite beyond religion, though they are related, because the culture can be like you go to some communities and for them they do not educate girls. It is culture, though not religious. So you end up seeing enrollment of boys in your schools more than that of girls.
Actually, you were asking something about religion and culture.
Mm.
Religion itself is a subset of culture.
Mm.
Yes, it's a form of its own kind. Like you see, when you're a Catholic, you must behave like the Romans.
Mm. Mm.
When you are a Muslim, you behave in the culture of the Arabs.
Mm. Yeah.
You have to view God the way the Arabs view God,
Mm.
the same way. So that's how it is. So
They are interconnected. Mm. You can say religion and culture environment. And here we have the social environment. You know that some people go to some of the restaurants for status,
Even the schools,
even schools.
the neighbors to see
Yeah, that.
my child goes to Elite.
Uh-huh. Now let it happen that you've sent that child for fees and is logged on the gate of the school. Oh,
Don't send my child back for fees.
first
You
tell
at least
me.
call me. Twaza, how will these people see my child back because of fees? You
Mm.
have to first call me always. But I sent a Katito on the weekend and you didn't respond.
Hmm. Social. And then the social environment involves even what are the people around there doing. If there is a welding machine here and they are welding and you're teaching, that social environment is not favoring the school, the welding business. The carpentry, yes. The noise. Somewhere at the university, we have people who tune on music on big speakers.
Yes. Like that guy there.
You dance as you be in class as though you were in a disco. So it looks at and this environment also goes into considering the entire community associating with their school. Some institutions will need to have uh, like electoral their places, their polling stations. Their polling stations, their immunization centers. You refuse them from accessing the school, they also wait. They also abandon it. Or you employ only people who are from far communities and their children have the qualifications to work in your school or your business and you do not accept. Uh, so there you can ask. Those are business environments. These ones we shall look at them later. But so you also have to look at in business you have got to work in collaborations. These are collaborations for enterprise development.
You're most welcome.
Your school, this is your school. These are neighbors of the school. You have got to have good relationship with them. Otherwise, you'll be quarreling over sewage. Then these ones, the general community. If you are to make the school enterprise, you have to work with the community. People are dying in the community. No one from the school goes to attend or events of the community. So that's why some schools establish public relations here. Then parents, collaborations with parents. You lose a single parent, will go to the community and it starts to de-advertise the school. Even collaborations with other schools. There's a school to school collaboration. There are schools which don't allow those collaborations. For us, we are unique. Mm.
Like for instance, Kuba University, there are only four, in regards to my research, there are four, we have only four universities in Wakiso district, which are chartered.
Mm.
We have Kumba University, this history has also just been chartered, and the other two. Now, many times when Nkumba University sends researchers in this University of the Catholics, they don't accept to give information.
Mm.
You get it?
They don't have.
There are very few universities connected, yet they exit. How do I say? They close the doors to anyone coming to them.
Mm.
Now you wonder, for them, how do they do their business? Recently,
It
the
is.
dean wanted even to write to them complaining about that. Every time she sends people there, they are bounced back.
But for them, how will they manage it? Don't they do research in their university?
For them, they think Kumba University is copying their strategies to become better.
They see you as a competitor who is seeking for
Instead of a collaborator.
data to compete better. Then government regulators, you have got also to work in collaboration with the government regulatory authorities. Regulators here depend on the business. If it is a hotel, then the regulator is you have got to comply with health. So that is food and beverage. So school, Ministry of Education, Uganda Revenue Authority, the NSSF, who are other regulators in schools, the district education offices. Mm. You also have regulators who are the district local government. Okay. So if you do not work with this, development becomes harder. Then also working with suppliers. There are schools which keep changing suppliers every time. The one who supplied the beans in a week, in the first 3 weeks, so we keep changing depending on some reasons. But we would see that uh, paying suppliers is very key. If you don't pay suppliers, they also go into the market and keep saying, yeah, where do you want to sell your meat? Yeah, you sell at your own risk. Yes. Then this is media and information. You also want your school to be known. So media is very key. We cannot hide away from it. There are even some institutions where you see wherever they have an event, they call people from a certain television to come and take coverage. Yeah. Someone was here, someone said this, and then was at this school located here. Mm-hmm. Mm. Uh-huh.
Kati waliyo babadde neki?
A university.
Babadde ne prefectorial whatever.
Mm.
Everything, or even class activities, they can bring a media person to capture. I think his personal media, maybe no, his team, which should be covering state. He must have made a contract with them. Because almost every, even a function you think is not worth it, it is also.
So media and information. So you need to release some information back to the community through media. You can establish your own media platforms for the school. You cannot separate media from community. And the community is hosting, is feeding on the media. Which community has the parents in there? So we expect that for effective collaborations in the school, this relationship is very tight. This relationship should be very tight. That's why we have just loosened, we have just tightened the what? The relationship. Zero distance. Yes, the parents are within the school as if they are out. Even the community. The parents are sunk into the community, media is sunk into, and media can even get information about the school and saturate it. So the moment you get a problem in the school and you're not working closely with the media houses, they will saturate any information they want about the school. To deform, they can deform the school. But with those who are working closely with media and there's a problem within the school, you say, but we are from Bukede. We've heard this. We would like to talk to you and see what is really happening before we have anything to say. So that is very key. This was there are some schools that choose to close out other schools. This relationship is closed out. Even suppliers, the schools supply to themselves everything.
They have a bakery for bread. They make uniforms. They even make chalk.
Make sure. So,
Their food.
so members of the community feel like the school is not benefiting them. The school is hosting, is feeding on the community, but the community is not feeding from the school. So there can be that collision.
Let me share my experience. One time I traveled to the village and I think I forgot the stock. My stock was out, just a matchbox. The boy went to the shop, the neighboring shop. The woman told him, kugenda mama we intelligent. When I came back, the boy told me, I said, what? The woman told her. So I went and told her, but Mananga, I also, do you expect me to come and buy one matchbox? I also shopped because I also want to save. So there were the bad people said that they opened up that people have been you don't buy sugar from them, you don't buy posho. I can't buy a kilo of posho. So again, the quarter was scarce. That is not because I also buy in bulk. Now I got to know the people's minds around.
So now you see,
Why do you need them when you are in trouble?
you could buy from them
Once in a while.
once in a
But
while.
the good thing also her children were not in my school, so I don't care. Suffer.
Now they are not in your school because they don't have a reason to bring it to your school. So they are actually not.
You are not supporting them and they are not supporting you.
They are not supporting.
That's above my school. They were a class above my school. But eventually, the person who, that lady, because you attack every customer like that, she failed in business and sold the shop to somebody else. Because eventually it was not only me being attacked. Oyo yabuze omugati ne baguzaayo n'agugaana nti emmese yalumyeko so she was also herself.
She was actually a disaster.
She was a disaster.
The relationship was not good.
She failed in the community. But later I got to know, hey, people want me to send for nyanya zebitano.
Yeah, and they need it.
I said, okay.
It is very essential.